Boom. Hey, what's going on, people? It's the Mind Your Business podcast. It's your man JB with you, and today we have none other than let me see it, Miss Black, please, the comedian, Miss Allison Moore. Like she is genuinely a very funny individual, and so we're getting a chance to hang out with her today. We talking. So we'll just you tell me what's going on.
Hey y'all. First of all, JB, you better invite me to the Mind Your Business podcast. I'm here, god dang it all. I'll be minding my business too. I want to thank you, King, for what you're doing. You have some dope guests, and I'm really happy about this. And you and the media world needs you. And thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here. And shout out to you people.
Listen, I appreciate it. And look, before we go any further, I just want to say see, you set the bar.
Okay. Talk about it. Come on, blow my head up, Jay.
You set the bar. You know what I mean? Like you really set the bar. Like look, you guys, take notes. I want you guys take notes. Look. Take notes, man. So listen, when you hit me and was like, hey, what size do you wear? Blah blah blah. I was like, wait a minute. This is something different. And it says a lot. And other people, don't get all upset. Just step your game up.
Yeah.
That's all. And I mean that, but to me, it really meant a lot and it said a lot. So hands down, I appreciate that. I really do. I wasn't expecting anything except for, hey, I go into this thing like this. Yes, I can do it. No, I can't do it. Either one or the other.
Yeah.
I've gotten no's and I've gotten yeses. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the yes as well as all the stuff that came with it. So yeah, appreciate that. So let's talk.
Yes, let's talk.
You got a lot.
Okay, I'm sorry.
My bad. Okay.
No, you go and then we'll come back to literally why I sent you that.
Yes. Okay. You have a lot going on.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on. You're doing a lot. You're a comedian, you've got clothes, you've got coffee. How did all of that how did it start? Like what was the beginning?
The beginning was the comedy. The beginning was probably entrepreneurship aspect where I sold some clothes from this faith-based perspective with this business. My first business was robes. Shout out to one of my best friends. We started that business together. But our heart was, we used to say, because we're from Virginia, both of us born and raised, we went to high school together, college together. And we got saved and we were just like, what's our purpose? Mm-hmm. And we used to say, when we become millionaires, we going to give back to the poor, to the community. We taking care of the city in Hampton. We taking care of these orphans and widows. And we really felt one day in prayer that the Lord was like, why don't you show me what you're going to do with this $100 before I give you $1 million? First of all, God, I just, in your thunderous voice, I feel like you kind of coming for me. But if anybody can come for me, it would be you.
Right.
So
yeah.
We said we wanted to just utilize what we had, which was we were popular and we were not afraid to put together an event and get people to come out. And so we put together these events in this business through Robes, in which we would have people come to our event and we would give all the money away as a fundraiser to somebody who was doing the work in the orphans and the widow. Like all of these spaces that we wanted these millions to do that we didn't have today, we said we're not going to wait to get there. I really believe that night for our first event was where I got the gift of being a comedian in response to us being willing to give to somebody else without us taking no money from it. And so that's what I'm saying. Robes happened first, but comedy happened before the coffee, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So we had this event, and I've always been like the type of person that, I got the personality that I got. You and I, we've been able to talk and build offline or whatever. It is what it is. I be trying to, hide it from the people, but then I get nervous and the real me come out anyway. And so I was doing this event. I've always been comfortable talking in front of people and stuff, but I didn't like comedy. I wasn't into comedy, none of that. I didn't grow up on comedy. I didn't watch comedy. I didn't go to my first comedy show till I was 30. And I'm 38 now. And it might have been 31. And so we had this event and we got a comedian, but I was the host of the event. You know, it's
Okay.
our event. I'm the host. My best friend, she was the designer of the event. So I'm there, I'm talking and I'm moving through these people we got this comedian that did this event for us as our give back fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And he said at the end, he was like, I don't know why y'all got me. Allison was funny. She been cracking jokes all night. She should have been the comedian. And it was like this room, JB, of like 75 people that we all knew. This was our thing. You know what I'm saying? It was our first event. So it was all people. And myself and Tia, we're in the back of the room. It's almost at the end of the night. And he's saying this. And so I'm yelling from the back, yeah, but can I get paid? Because everybody was like, yeah, hey, Allison,
Right,
funny.
right,
You know,
right.
like all
Yeah.
my family, friends, community. And I'm thinking with my little HR self, trying to be a director and executive, that was my trajectory. But can I get paid? And it was like everybody in the room, JB, was like, yeah, that's why comedians are. It didn't even never dawn on me. I was like, oh, y'all think I'm that funny? You think I can? So that really started the comedy journey.
Okay.
And then I didn't get famous in like 3 years. I was supposed to, and Hollywood forgot to call me and everything. And so I was like, oh, okay. And the pandemic happened
Right.
at
Yeah.
2020. So 2020, like I'm getting some traction. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it. People calling me like, you Virginia's comedian. I'm like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what's up, doing my thing. And I had opportunities to work with Sinbad a lot. So it was really blowing up for me is what I felt. The beginning of 2020, Martin Lawrence, they started the end of 2019, they started the Lit AF tour with
Right.
Martin.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so they came to Virginia at the Scope. I got a call like, yo, Martin Lawrence's team wants you to open.
Oh wow.
I was like, oh, I'm about to be famous now. This is it. I had already lined up who I was going to talk about. I had already, I was going to go blast people and tell them that's why y'all shouldn't have slept on me. And then the pandemic happened like 2 weeks later. So I found myself in this space where I was trying to pivot. At that same time, I was already doing a lot more corporate comedy.
Okay.
Because I got
Mm-hmm.
the HR background. I do clean comedy. And so now I'm
Oh
moving
yeah.
where people were like, oh, you used to work at HR and you do comedy, you don't cuss? Why don't you come and do our such and such?
Mm-hmm.
So that started the transition on its own. But I was still like, I'm trying to get famous. Okay, I'll do that because I like paying my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to get famous, waiting for, somebody to call me type concept. And so they used to start booking me in the mornings. They were like, can you open up this conference? Can you start this such and such? And I'm like, no, it's the morning. Don't know. And when I started to do the morning, my jokes was hitting in a whole different way.
Right.
It was
Okay.
like, I'm like, hey, oh my gosh, you're so funny. I'm like, golly, y'all. And so I realized like what is happening. And people would say, well, because you're funny, all the speakers, everybody wants you to start and kick the event off. And when people
Mm-hmm.
come to events, they don't want to be there, especially work events. So they're
Right.
ready to laugh. They're ready, like, oh, thank you. Okay. She's there. She's smiling. So then I just started to lean into, oh, y'all use me to be the coffee around here. Y'all wanted me to
Mm-hmm.
wake everybody up. And so people were like, yes, oh my God. I was like, oh, okay, well, comedian Allison Moore, your conference is coffee. And they're like, oh, Allison, you're so clever. Oh my God, I think that's amazing. So I was like, okay. And I'm like leaning into it. And one day
Right.
I was on stage and all of this pressure has come up. And I'm like, y'all like coffee. Y'all must like your coffee black because y'all keep calling me.
Mm.
And so they're like, oh my God, Allison, yes. And I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm going to do some coffee then. Let me sell some coffee because I keep lying and saying I'm going to write a book. And I ain't wrote one yet, JB. I've been writing a book for 3 years. So I said, I'm going to sell coffee. And it literally came from a stage. And then I was like, how do you get coffee? I didn't think about that. I didn't think it through.
Right.
So it was easy for me but I can do t-shirts. I can do hoodies while I'm figuring out coffee. I did that before with robes. I can have an event. So I pulled from that experience previously and came up with Black Please, still for coffee. Still because I thought it was going to be this really sophisticated. Y'all can't see me that your girl can do stand up, clean. That was already a thing that people are like, I can't do clean.
Right. Right.
And then the fact that I got this HR background, which gives me permission to move into corporate. So I'm building this content there. And then I got coffee. It just, for me, it was just making sense. It was
Right.
hard, stupid expensive, but I just felt like it was a really sophisticated offering and total package that I can give to people. It's like, we're going to have an experience. The jokes and stuff is cute, but you could dismiss it. And the coffee and stuff it gets a little more weight. And then the whole conversation that's applicable to employee morale boosting and team building over coffee. And so then when I did the Black Please piece of it, even though it was coffee focused,
Mm-hmm.
people were really like, especially Black people, because the merch came out before the coffee. That was
Okay.
so expensive. It was so hard for me to get. It was like, oh my gosh. But I didn't want to give up because I had already put it out there. So I had this merch. So people didn't even know it was coffee. So then I became the Black Please girl. And then it was at the time where the pandemic happened. George Floyd stuff happened. There was a lot of racial pressure. It was a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even ready to step into that, honestly. I was just trying to, I'm here for the money. I was not trying to be nobody Harriet Tubman. This is not what I signed up for. Y'all gonna have somebody, because Black people was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we
Right.
need.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to do it. And I'm like, hold on, this is a lot of pressure. I'm still mad at Black people for calling me dark skin. I'm not here to be your spokesperson. Y'all gotta apologize to me. I'm still traumatized. I'm still mad, JB. So, but I'm playing these white audiences, right?
Right. Right.
And it was not until I said it was coffee that they were even okay with it. And I had to sit with that. Because on the one hand, I'm like, I didn't say I was trying to be, I got to feed my family too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a single mother. I got 3 kids. I wasn't ready to put that out there in that way. But then I just felt like the Lord was like, what you think I gave you this for?
Mm.
And there's going to be some conflict on one side or the other. And I didn't want to be on the side where I was like, well, I don't want this to be a whatever it looks like, because I want to keep white people
Mm-hmm.
or other people comfortable, right? And so I just really had to draw the line in the sand. But what I found out anyway was I really didn't have to draw the line in the sand, because Black Please really bothers racist people.
Right.
Period.
Right. Yeah.
Period. My business partner, one of my investors, he's white. If he has on Black Please stuff, it's no issue. If I have on Black Please stuff, it's totally, it's triggering. It makes them think Black Lives Matter.
Right.
I've had to have
Right.
conversations with my sons and my nephews about wearing his mother's coffee brand. I've had to sit with myself on how much, please, it's not this. It's just coffee.
Right.
So I really had to go around like dealing with it. And then when people are like, you got a lot going on, girl. The truth I just want to say is, I know. And I don't know what I'm doing. Fix it. I got myself all these messes. So JB, I just gave you my life. Fix my life.
Well, so the good thing about it is this, and you hear it all the time from entrepreneurs about the streams of income.
Yep.
And so just listening to you and how one thing kind of paid for the other, and at the end of the day, it kind of paved the way for some other things as well.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when we're sitting here trying to figure, well, I know you said to do this, I know I should do this, and blah blah blah, and sometimes we're trying to figure it out, and just we can't wrap our minds around it.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, somehow, it just all works out.
Yep.
And for you, I sit back and I watch. And I saw your comedy, and I saw the coffee, and the hoodies and all of that stuff, and but just to sit back and watch and see the growth and the progress, and to see, because even now, we talked earlier, even missing out on emails, you send
Mm-hmm.
emails, and because you're just so busy, you got so much going on.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, that's a great place to be in. And did you ever think that with all that you have going on and your future stuff, did you ever think that this is where you would be?
Yeah. Yeah. Because let me say this. I don't even feel almost accomplished. I don't even feel like I have to slow myself down and appreciate what people see in me, because I have measurements of success that I
Mm-hmm.
have not reached those yet. So I don't see the success. I have to stop myself, because what I have found is my vision, my goals, my whatever is so big. Sometimes it's intimidating, threatening. And what it does for other people is it makes them feel like that they're not moving forward. So inevitably, the thing that I'm trying to do is counterproductive. I want to inspire. I want to encourage. I want to help people to think outside the box. But what I do is make people feel like, dang, I ain't doing nothing. Dang, I need to, she doing too, it's overwhelming. I
Right.
can't. And so I'm just trying to understand that balance. I do a lot of that with within my community,
Mm-hmm.
with not overwhelming. But so did I see myself here? Yes. I didn't see myself here with, actually, I thought I'd be further than where I was at, than where I am right now. Now the specificity piece of it, okay, I'm not gonna sit here and say I knew that I was gonna do coffee and bring it together. No. But I knew that I've already gone into the game. I wanted multiple streams of income. I had a house fire. Can't remember if we shared that or not, but 3 years ago in June, we had a house fire. So my family, my children were home alone. They were cooking. The house burned down. Praise God, they were okay, but we lost everything and we were displaced for a year. That was a really hard time for our family. I knew then that I had to get a product on the shelf. I knew at that time I was 100% service based. It was just doing comedy. And I didn't have it in me to do comedy. But I could not afford to not do comedy.
Right, right.
Because at that time I still merged. But the only way you move merch when you're an entertainer, not the only way, but I'm not famous. So I don't have people coming to my traffic checking for me for real without something to push it, without seeing me at an event. They're like, oh my God, that girl was amazing. And then they'll go and check for me. But other than that, I'm not really making money on my merch unless I pull up.
Right.
But when I'm physically not, I cannot make 100, 300, 400 of y'all laugh. I'm like super depressed. I'm super whatever. I knew then I needed the product on the shelf. So I already knew. And once this morning stuff was pulling together, it does not take me. I can see something. I'm gonna put it together. You know what I'm saying? So that's me saying, oh, like, well, shoot, then the product gonna be the coffee back. That's what it is. I was looking for, and I just did not know how hard the coffee piece was, because I don't even be caring sometimes, which is not always good. It's just like, oh, that sounds great.
Right.
Like, you want to think about that first? Nope, because I like making mistakes. I like taking the hard away.
So, and that kind of gets me here. So when it comes to the whole entrepreneur piece, what would you say for you has been the hardest? What's been the hardest thing for you to do when it comes to just the whole being an entrepreneur?
It's the me piece. It's definitely the internal stuff. Because in the beginning, I just wanted to blame it on everybody else. I wanted to deal with that. I didn't feel like people respected me the way that they should have, right? Because I knew in my mind that I got this master's degree, I'm educated, I'm smart, I'm savvy, I'm this, that, and the third. So why y'all just telling me to crack a joke? I'm more than a joke. So first I thought it was that. So then I moved to, let me get something with more meat. I'm not just telling jokes. I'm going to tell jokes with inspiration. I'm going to be a comedic speaker so people will know I'm all that. But they still not respecting me, or I'm still not getting the money that I thought, or I'm still not whatever. It got to be da 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 da. But eventually, when I made the decision that every way that outsiders are making you feel starts because your foundation is off, Allison, that internal work is what has been the hardest piece for me. And it impacts that. It's not, I don't even want to, I hope I don't sound like cliche or whatever, or superficial, but I'm really like building content on deal with you first to be your best entrepreneur for reasons even more just than the fluffy stuff. Case in point, I have an investor that says to me, you got this coffee business, how much you need? Because I don't have the mindset, I don't have the confidence, I have not done the internal work.
Right.
I don't even know how to ask, nor do I even feel worthy. So I say, I promise you, if you give me $8,000, I could hustle. I could do this, I could do that. And I missed probably about 2, 3, 4 opportunities because they like $8,000. What can she do with that? When people wanted to hear me say, if you give me $300,000, I can flip it.
Right.
In 2 years, I can earn you a 14% or a 24%. And here's my pro forma. Like, that's what they wanted, but I didn't know. But once I started to do the work that said, oh, they turned their head on me and I'm not going to do anything again because I'm offended. Once I did the work that stopped me from hearing no's and hearing people's responses in any way other than, Al, learn from it, chew up the meat, spit out the bones, that helped me as an entrepreneur. Does that make sense? So I like really had to just feel like, even with the whole racial piece and the whole, it's jokes and it's content now. Like, okay, Black people, I wasn't ready to stick up for y'all. Shoot, I still have my own stuff. I really had to deal with that because before I was able to joke about it, I had to be honest with, why is it cringy that people think that this is a Black blah, blah, blah for the power business for you? Because I'm definitely Black, right? Like I'm not Black. But I didn't appreciate Black people telling me that my business was that. And I had to really deal with the hurt that I had with my own people for colorism stuff. So that's what I mean when I'm like, me has been the hardest part. Me makes me cry. Me has slowed me up. Me has make me miss $25,000. Me has interfered with that. But when I like make a decision, Al, you got to grow up, or you got to be okay with maybe some church people don't like the fact that you da 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 da, or maybe your previous friends or circles or whatever, you've outgrown them, or you are the matriarch of your family, or you are a pioneer, which means you don't have examples to follow.
Right.
Are you still willing to do, like, I got fear, I deal with anxiety, that kind of thing that I've just really had to deal with me. And that has really helped me be a better entrepreneur because I'm a communicator. And so it's helped me to increase my emotional intelligence to be able to communicate to people the message. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get caught up in your own ish,
Right.
or you
Right.
able to communicate past it. So
Did,
me stuff.
did you or do you or have you, I don't know, did you have a mentor?
Yeah. I believe in mentorships. And what I have done, let me show you this, because I didn't send you this, but I got this book that I wrote.
Oh.
It is a workbook, but baby steps. So it's a workbook. It's this time next year. And it's this, like, the whole concept is it's about growth, right? Where do you want to be by this time next year? And it's this principle of, let's look at your life in these different spiritual, financial, emotional, mental, your relationships. Where do you want your life to be by this time next year? And then we say, what one little itty bitty thing can you do each week to do that? 52 steps will significantly impact your life, right? So each week you do that. But in the beginning of it, I strongly recommend make the journey easier. Go and identify somebody that has achieved, or you feel is an expert in this specific thing that you want. Ask them and find out, some just tangible things that you can do towards your journey. But I think that mentorship, I think that it doesn't have to be this one person should have total access and government over your life, right? In most cases, people aren't total whole people.
Right.
So I feel like that, and I don't think that mentorship has to be where we talk every day, all day, y'all. I don't have time for that. I can't, and I don't want to. However, identifying somebody that has achieved, like I said, this one thing, right? Like, having a mentor, you can have a mentor at a distance, you can have a very close mentor, but I think that they're really valuable. And for me, what I did was I made a decision that I wasn't happy with where I was within my, I was transitioning, going through a divorce. I needed to know what woman that has been an influencer like me. Not just a person that's in the front, a person that's saved, a person that has these, you should be clean, and, whatever expectations on them, that's navigating divorce. And let me talk with her about what things should I expect emotionally as I'm transitioning into a single woman in front of the public.
Right.
I identified a person who has 5 streams of income or whatever, because that's what I'm trying to have. I got 2, I'm trying to get 5. I identified them and just talk with them about, like, what are books and things that you can read to help you manage, or how do I split these streams? I asked somebody specifically that I knew for a long time, that I have seen her in some very pressure-filled moments, and she did not yell, she did not flip out. I just respect how she controls herself, and that's how I want to be emotionally. Like, I didn't want to yell at my kids. They'll say something to me like 1 or 2 times, then it's, what did I tell you? And then later I'm like, hey, would you like to eat? I'm sorry, but mama crazy. Sometimes adults are crazy too.
Right. Yeah.
So I do believe in mentorship, and I really feel like you can get your mentorship. Some people get stuck in that lack of trust and that whatever, and they probably had a broken mentor that they gave access to every part of their life, and just had really dingy advice that make you say no more. So I really think that mentorship is valuable, and you could do it in whatever way that's comfortable to you. You can have a mentor that y'all not friends, that y'all don't even talk, get in somebody's group. But anyway, JB, you gonna have to shut me up. Like, do like this, because I'm learning.
Listen, hey, I'd rather have someone that's going to get on here and talk than have someone on here I've got to pull stuff out of.
Oh.
So look.
No,
so let's back up. Now, understand, the whole point of the Mind Your Business podcast
Mm-hmm.
is so for future entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers, creatives that are thinking about venturing off into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, what we want to do is save them money.
Mm-hmm.
We want to save their relationships. We want to save anything that we can to keep them from losing. Well, ultimately, I want to see people win. I do.
Yeah.
And so the point and the purpose of having, people like yourselves on here is so that we can give them information to keep them from losing their shirt, losing their kids, losing their families, things of that nature. So you mentioned, and I'm just, if it's too much, then let me know. You mentioned you mentioned the divorce piece.
Yeah.
Was that tied to the entrepreneurship, or was that just kind of totally something separate?
Yeah, the divorce was separate.
Okay.
But the entrepreneurship exploited the challenges that
Got it.
were already and inevitably going to come to a head anyway. So maybe
Right.
the entrepreneurship sped up the process,
Right.
right?
Right.
But my ex and I, who are on great terms, which I
Nice.
make it very clear on everything, even if I hated him, I would not tell y'all because he's still my baby daddy, and my kids go there half of the month. Okay, let me tell you something. We ain't get along before, but we make it work now. You understand what I'm saying, JB? I just might buy him a house when I get rich. Keep acting right. But anywho, yeah. So we got married young,
Okay.
right? Like 2021, and we were young, and when we got married, we were pregnant. We got married and had a baby 3 weeks later, and then got pregnant again 3 months later. So our oldest two, who are 17 and 16, they're turning 17 and 16. They're literally a year apart.
Got it.
And we were young, and our parents were like, don't do. Everybody told us don't do it.
Right. Right.
Because we were so young and we shouldn't do it, and we're like, oh, it's us against the world. But nobody gave us the resources that we needed to grow. And not that they had to, but they didn't help. So it's like you give this young couple, which I do think that young couples is harder, right? Because they're trying to figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But when we know that as adults, as partners to this union, then there's to me an expectation there, or an obligation, so to speak, to contribute. So we just did not have a solid foundation from the beginning. We were young, we dropped out of college, we started a family, we didn't have any money, we didn't have examples in a total healthy way to get that. And then we didn't do the things that we should have done, like at all, but in the beginning, especially counseling, therapy, we didn't do things like connect with. We didn't have couple friends. I think that couple friends are really important.
Yeah.
You should have couple friends. We didn't have that. I had single friends that were saved, and they were great women, like, and still, like his sisters, he still got relationships with them. Those were healthy parts of it, but it wasn't balanced. So I always I felt bad as being the married friend, and I didn't want my other friends to be uncomfortable. So come on, girl. No, we family. He cool with it. Come on, girl. No, we cool. Right. No, you need him to teach your baby how to ride a bike. He can do it. Come on, baby. You can do it. What you need, so there wasn't boundaries. And so, one day we just looked up and we just kept growing without maturity, without boundaries, without help in the shaping. And so I just think that that's what it was. We were always kind of very different. And the reasons why people told us, because I'm this way and he's this way, it's not going to work. It could have worked, but we needed some work to make it work, and we didn't have that. So now you fast forward, we were married 16 years. This one for the week. So you fast forward, and it's like, you're going to be an entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, there's some things that we didn't put into place. So my entrepreneurship journey just couldn't handle the already shaky foundation. Right. And when you're an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that your spouse not is okay. My spouse was okay, and I thought that was enough. It wasn't enough. You have to make sure this is what your spouse wants you to do. That's a whole nother level. Right. Because I think that entrepreneurship is beautiful, and I think that it works with people who work. I think that a part of the entrepreneurship that you cannot get around is the instability, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have a spouse or a partner that understands, I am the stability, then they understand their place. But without that communication, and without everybody understanding, like, if stability is a slight to one person, or whatever, and to the opposite, then you're just not matching up. And these are some of the things that I'm saying, like, we didn't have the language. You know, these are things that you learn in therapy, where the word that I use is not necessarily the same word as you use. And then therefore we're saying the same word, but where one person is insulting when the other person is complimenting. And I see that even now in a lot of relationships where you have people who are entrepreneurs
Right.
versus not.
Yeah. Yeah.
They told their spouse that they were going to do this.
Yeah.
Their spouse said, okay. But their spouse isn't secure and confident in their own future, and you putting this extra pressure on when they're trying to feel like a man or a woman in their own role is too much. And so that's where, like I said, for us, I think that the relationship, like, it was exploited, but we had a lot of back to back stuff. I mean, again, just being Black, being young. We dropped out of college. We had these babies back to back, and we did not have any money. And we didn't have family that could hold us down when we needed it financially.
Right.
Those are already enough problems. Then I did go back to school. Then I went back and got my master's degree. And now I'm moving up. So whereas my ex was in this blue collar space, and I'm moving up in this, or moving in this different direction, that in itself already creates a lot of division within the home.
Yeah.
With two, if you got white and blue collars or whatever, workforce manufacturing, like that kind of thing, it can already create some weirdness there. And so I'm just all over the place. So I think that we just was like, look, we have fought the good fight, but I want to make it till I'm 60, and so do you. Plus, and we're gonna kill each other if we don't come on here and be honest. This ain't working. We are friends. We love each other. We was kids, but this ain't it.
And I guess, well, I know it takes a special person. It takes a special individual to be married to an entrepreneur, a creative. You know, it takes a special person, because, you know, those type of people, it's something about their brains. Their brains just function totally different from a person that is okay with going to work every single day, working 9 to 5, maybe 9 to 6, doing overtime. They're just wired differently.
Can we get into that right there? Because I think, and I'm hoping that everybody who's listening to this, especially those in this space or relationships, that very thing that you said is so demeaning and insulting to a person on the other end that does not understand what you're saying. And that's what I'm saying with that mixed match.
Got it.
Because if you say to somebody who is working, see, I was in human resources, right? So I worked with people that's all they did all their lives. I fired men that were 60 years old and took away their employment. So you say to them, it's just something about, you know, if you're okay with going to work every day. And even in myself, and especially with other women, and I'll talk with them as well, and I'll try to coach them about that. Watch that, because sometimes what men are hearing, and I'm saying men, but it could be women too. But what people are hearing on the other end is, I don't know there ain't no way in the world I can work a job. I ain't putting myself in somebody else's future. I'm smarter than that. I'm better than that. I control, and if there's not that security there, if there's not maturity there, if there's not all of that, then they are hearing that you playing them. And so now they don't even respect the entrepreneur. It's like, how you trying to play me? You the one that can't pay your bills every month. How you so such and such? And so there becomes more conflict. I do think that there is a special person that's married to a creative, but I see the difference between an entrepreneur and a creative. I am definitely both. But I think an entrepreneur doesn't require a personality type as much to me as a creative. Creative is nuts.
Yeah, they're a little weird. Yeah, they are. Nuts. They've got a lot going on. And for those of you guys just tuning in, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. We got Allison Moore. We're hanging out. We're just having a conversation. We're talking about all of the streams of income that she has. We're talking about what she's done, what she hasn't done, and what she's got coming up. Because let me take it back. I did get a comment. How do you get the book?
Okay. You go to the website, comedianallisonmoore.com. Who is that? Is that the first comment?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. But send me them afterwards so I'll know who that is. And that's comedianallisonmoore.com.
On your website. Got it. Okay. Well, we'll do that.
But we're in the group on Facebook. I have this group. It's called This Time Next Year. It's a small community group that if you're interested, everybody on this podcast, I welcome you to join our group this time next year. So we had a morning talk show. I have a morning talk show, the More Laugh in the Morning Show. The heart of that show, it's like a little bit of, I don't know. I just feel like in the morning we want to wake up to some positivity. And in the pandemic on TV, a lot, it is just pandemic stuff, racial stuff, and we need to know what's going on. But sometimes, like for me, especially going through a hard place, I just wanted to be pepped up. I just needed something positive, and I needed something tangible today that was going to help me deal with the fact this pandemic, going to help me deal with all of that stuff.
Right.
What can help me today deal with these kids or whatever? So I created what I wanted to see in the morning. And This Time Next Year segment is my interview session with anybody that I find successful or interesting. And I can ask them questions just like how we're talking about with that mentorship piece.
Mm-hmm.
I invited, I had Dr. Albion Lyon. So she is Virginia's relationship expert. Right. So we wanted to talk about tips for relationship. How we dating in the pandemic? How you doing this stuff? You know what I'm saying? I'm about to be 40 years old and I ain't been single since I was 20. And the streets is different, JB. They not the same.
Yeah.
They're not the same no more. They're not the same. So, just that kind of thing. And I have people up there, but that group, the whole show itself came out of that group. So whoever that is, just tell them, just follow us on in our group, our Facebook group during the off season. Like this morning, I have morning pep rallies and things like that. And we just get encouraged and inspired. So
got it. Okay, well, good. Now let's talk about, so you've got your own show, but then you also there's a radio show that you're a part of as well.
Yes.
And I've heard it a couple times, and it's pretty cool. I think
I got to charge us up because that's going to be ghetto talking about streams of income and my phone died on the people.
Oh, man. I would say my only gripe, my only complaint.
About what, the show?
About that show? And understand, listen, I love the show. I love the station. I love public radio like I do. But it's all women. It's just... And it's fine. And I love hearing you guys' opinions. I love the conversation.
Brother JP. Let me tell you why. Just why. It's only all women on that 1 week. So Barbara Hamley, she got it's every week. And the other weeks is the men.
I need to get her. Matter of fact, I'm working. I need to work on getting her on the show. I really Yes, I really enjoy. I like her. I love listening to her. Like I said, I'm a fan of public radio. And
she got me the other weeks on Another View. Yeah. So Another View is weekly. It's every Thursday at noon. Right. And myself, Dr. Carol Pretlow, Dawn Hester, Treasurer Norfolk, and Dr. Alvin Lyons.
Yep.
We are either the first or the fourth, I can't remember, but Thursday of the month. So we are a panel of women. But Barbara Hamley, she has, and of course all of the guys, their names escape me, but the other Thursdays are guys on the panel.
Yeah, I guess I don't listen to those shows.
That's how people do. They be coming for.
Yeah, I don't even listen to them. So it's.
I'm gonna make that connect with you and Barbara because, JB, I really see you as I appreciate your approach to all of this, and like I told you anyway, you the whole media man out here, and it's really important.
Look, say what you want. Say what you want. Look at this here.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Look. So what he is showing you, ladies and gentlemen, is a bag of this coffee and my hoodie that I sent him. Okay, so this is what, because of this, I wanted to come back to that. I really, my internal goal is to be impressive, right? And sometimes my goal to be impressive leads to me doing too much. But in my intentions, when I try to be impressive, the worst that can happen is you overwhelm them in a good way. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I like people to have a good experience with me so that they will call me back first. Period.
Yes.
And I know, and everybody who asked me to be on their show, I think it's important because I have my own shows and I'm a curator and a lover of content. And I deeply respect the fact that people respect me. And that was a part of my agreement with the Lord, with what I'm willing to do and not willing to do from the stage, because I know that people are listening to me.
Right.
And so I take care into like who I'm presenting in front of my audience.
Got it.
And therefore, when somebody asks me, I'm like, you had options. And some people don't have options,
Right.
but some people do. And you asked me to be a part of whatever because you feel like I could take your situation to the next level. Let's be real. You did not ask me because I was whack. You didn't ask me because you wanted it to be. You wanted me to come up there because, you know, you want people to, you want it to grow. You want to remind your audience that it's the place to be, that they can come. So I'm like, I appreciate it. And I bet you ain't nobody gonna send you no gifts better than coffee.
Hey, listen,
See
let
me,
me tell you. Look, well, listen, and I told you guys, like, listen, I don't even drink coffee. Listen, that thing came in the mail, and we got that package. And I told my wife, I said, when I hit you and you hit me back, she's like, yo, what size you wear? I got something for you. I was like, babe, we done made it. We done came up. Like, we getting stuff for free now. Yeah, and so when it came in, and she got it, and she looked at it, she was smelling, she's like, oh my gosh. But it's just those type of things. So not only does it make such a great impression,
yeah,
I mean, it goes a long way. Like, it really does. And, you know, for you to do something like that just based off of an invitation, you know what I mean? It says a lot. And it goes a long way, man. It really does. And listen, only thing I say is I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the energy. Listen, you sent it, you paid shipping, you did everything. Like you didn't say, hey, look, I'll send this to you, but you got to pay for shipping.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
that's disgusting. But I mean, obviously, I don't want to come across like it wasn't sincere. I mean, I'm a gift. My love language is gift giving anyway. And I want it to be a great experience. But, you know, I'm going to crack open the code and share to give you some cheat codes here. I'm an entertainer, right? And so I know that I'm responsible for setting the atmosphere of everybody else. And I know that the best way that I am able to set the atmosphere, make people laugh, make people feel good is when I feel good. And so I have learned, I've had cold interviews, I've had da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, well, what makes somebody excited? What gets them ready for me so that I can be comfortable and have a good interview, have a good experience? I bet you if I send them something, that'll make them happy, right?
Listen.
Because that made you take me more serious.
Oh, listen.
It's like, I want this to be right for her. And so I feel welcome. I feel like I'm a celebrity. I feel like you want me here. I feel like what I have to say is valuable. So, you know, it's just what I learned to do. Set the stage that you want to play on, Al, and that's what I do.
That's and look, I don't even know what to say. Look, Precious Time, she said, look, I want some coffee. How do I order?
So you order coffee. Hey, Precious. So it's blackpleasecoffee.com. Now listen here, y'all. Okay. You gotta say Black Please Coffee family, all right? Because Black Please is a porn site. Oh. And Allison Moore is a famous porn star. However, it's a white woman. It ain't me, y'all.
Oh, man.
But I mean, the irony is real. Like, you got to put Black Please Coffee in there. And then, of course, when we in a comedy club and I used to tell that joke, and then I'd be like, men pull out their phone. Like, do you got to fact check me? I done been up here 20 minutes. I done said all kinds of stuff about the weather and everything. Ain't nobody fact check nothing. But as soon as I said it was porn, then people like, see. So it is.
So look, now that the world is opening back up, what's your plan? So aside from your show that you're doing, and aside from what you're doing with Barbara Hamley, what else? What's your plan? Like, what do you got going on? Like, you still doing comedy, and are you getting invitations and stuff now? You getting booked now, or how's that working out?
Yeah, I mean, the live booking stopped obviously in the beginning of last year, but then a whole different something happened because the coffee came. I was still pushing and plugging towards that. So the coffee came towards the end of last year. Then I got this sponsorship where I do content creation for a bank. I got a partnership with the financial institution.
I saw that commercial.
You said you saw the commercial?
I saw the commercial.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, cool. So, I have those things, but what happened is, especially with the Black Please coffee, is myself and my business partner, who is a 74-year-old white man with this very rich, eclectic background. It starts with why I'm here with them is because of some of his background being from the Mississippi, being from the deep South, and having an experience with racism, where his father was an advocate and an attorney for the civil rights movement back in the 50s.
Mm.
That's a whole nother level of, I'm
Right.
not going to sit here and judge whether these white people is for us or against us,
Right.
period. Right. So that unique relationship started to build, and they were helping me. I met him over at Norfolk State University when I was trying to grow the coffee business, because I'm like, I'm gonna put this out here, I don't know what the heck about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him, so he came on board as my partner, came on board as an investor. But when we would show up with like meetings and things selling coffee, people would be so fascinated with our relationship
Mm-hmm.
that became a bigger draw. And so I asked him to be a part of this series that we created. And it's about diversity and inclusion. It's about race at work. And we have this as a 10-minute coffee break with comedian Allison Moore and Jim Franklin. And we do this, and we have these sessions. So microaggression, race at work, allyship, those types of conversations for 10 minutes, virtual, over coffee, sponsored by
Nice.
Coffee.
Okay.
So that's a lot of what that's a huge part of the overwhelm
Oh
there.
yeah.
Then I work with B Force. So B Force is, and this is aside from me, but this is more so like, I'm funny, I'm a comedian, and I lead with that. But I like to be very clear. I am a funny businesswoman. At the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, I'm about my money. I could care less if y'all laugh. It is just the fact that this happened to be what the Lord made me good at. That's why I'm here. I'm here to shake you by your ankles and get them coins. I don't care about nothing else, right? But so, I'm trying to be this business person and work on those skills. So we do with B Force in the Hampton Roads area. That is an organization by Black Brand. I don't know if you heard of Black Brand,
Mm-hmm.
but okay, good. So Black Brand and Prodigy, the Incubation Network, Norfolk State, some different partners have come together, created this firm, B Force, and essentially it helps minority-owned businesses in the Hampton Roads area, whether they're at whatever phase, idea, or maybe you're
Okay.
already there, blah, 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 but go from that to literal funding. At the end of this 12-week program, you're going to get a investor package or a donor sponsorship package if you're a
Okay.
nonprofit.
Okay.
So I do a lot of work with them, and then my own stuff. So that's, we
So it's
got
like
this.
like an incubator.
Yes.
Got it.
Hmm.
Okay. Yep.
But
Yep.
it's a super rich, a beautiful program that we're really proud of, because it's the incubator. But what we do that's different than any others that we know is we literally give the investor packages. And if you know about business, that's the most important part. And
Right.
that's why we don't get it anyway. That's why we be sitting around hustling t-shirts for 15 years talking about we entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
because we don't even understand the game. There's a whole business behind it, even with the pitch. You know what I'm saying? People think that the pitch of their business is presenting the business, as opposed to understanding is communicating your business model. This is not
Mm.
necessarily just whether you do it well or not. That's about your presentation skills. But you could take a bad presentation skill but have good numbers from your pro forma that will get an investor to dump $500,000. But you cannot take a fantastic presentation that does not have a business model in that and get money. So that's what we're doing, is creating this ecosystem that helps business owners in our area really know how to get money, so that when people are asking them how much they need, they're not saying stuff
Right.
like $1,000.
Yes. Right.
That now I'm able to say, you have to be an accredited investor to come to one of my meetings. Well, what's accredited investor? How fast can you liquidate $1 million? And I can let you know if you even got enough money to see me. But these are things that I had to be taught in communities like this. So I'm doing a lot of work with them too, and these businesses, and I'm really excited about the space that I'm in.
Well, listen, you should be excited about the space you're in, because you are in some great spaces. I mean,
Thanks.
really, you're in a position now to where you're able to help others. And to me, I think, and so to kind of take it back to what you kind of said earlier about success.
Mm-hmm.
Where you see yourself as, and you may not necessarily see yourself as successful, and that's fine. You may not, but apparently there's some other people that do.
Yeah.
And they see what you've done, what you've accomplished, and are inspired to the point to where they want you to be a part of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so if it keeps you from getting a big head, great. You know what I mean? If that's what it takes. But others, but
Keep me
you know,
humble. Listen.
yeah, you know what I mean. But understand, like you are doing things that people wish that they could do. People wish they knew how to do, and some people just wish they had to drive the drive to do it. And regardless of why and how you got to where you are, the fact is that you're here. You know what I mean? You're here, and you're doing it, and ultimately you're making a difference. And I think, really, honestly, when we're gifted with whatever it is we're gifted with, ultimately it's our responsibility to not just use that for our circle, our friends, our families, or whatever, but it's to use it for other people too. That people that need it. Like there's people out there that need it, and you're bumping into these people on a regular occasion. You're bumping into them every day, and ultimately, we talked about mentors,
Yeah.
how important they are. Well, you're going to be surprised at how big of a mentor that you really are, and you may not even know it. I listen. I have mentors that don't even know they're my mentors. You know what I mean? I have people that I follow, that I listen to, and they probably don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Now, eventually, I'm going to have the opportunity to have a conversation with them and tell them and let them know how they impacted what it is that I do. And for you, you're in that space to where you're impacting people. Listen, when I was putting up the post saying that I was going to have you on the show, like just the comments and what people had to say about you, and I don't know if you was paying these people or not. You know what I mean? I don't know,
I sent my little extra $6 to you.
But the things that they had to say about you speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And regardless of where you may think that you are in your level of success, know and understand that you're at a place where a lot of people wish that they could be. And for you, it's only up from here. Like the things that you have in place, the things that you're working on. Shoot, you might mess around and run for president one day. I don't know. You might be the mayor or something.
Maybe I can see that, but I can see me running the town, but the whole country probably not. But I appreciate your words because it definitely it means a lot, and it is a reminder to check how you see yourself.
Right.
Check
Yeah.
how you see yourself is kind
Yeah.
of what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
and it's inspirational because sometimes I do say you be doing a lot,
Yes.
and is it worth it? Does it matter? And so I know that my community loves me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I really do give. But what I do, I'm sneaky with it though. I can't say I'm always, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be honest. You can see I'm a little manipulative. But let me tell you who I take care of. You wanna know? I take care of these old folks.
Mm.
And let me tell you, I mean, I take care of these old folks. I love them and they love me because I'm just on the edge, right? Because I don't cuss too much. So that girl. Sometimes she talk fast, I don't know what she talk about, but that baby, I like that baby. So they and I take my time with them. And so the hood know that their grandma at the church love me. They know I done either came to somebody's grandma's house, I done gave her something, I spent time, I did something, sent some coffee. I done probably sent a little bit more than I sold. If it weren't for corporate, I'm okay with that because you know what I'm saying, I got this other car. But so I try to take care of the least of these.
Right.
And mess with me if you want to. Somebody gonna be mad because they know, they gotta now go visit their grandma in the nursing home where Allison was doing. So
Well,
I appreciate it.
yeah, no, just and know and understand that what you're doing is nothing short of amazing. You're making a great impact on the lives that you touch, and like I said, you may never hear about or even know about the lives that you touch until later on down the line. But know that you are, and you're definitely making a difference. And I appreciate you for showing up just coming on the show, hanging out, just being open and honest. And I continue doing the work, just continue doing what you're doing. Listen, because you probably don't even know how many people you probably helped through COVID.
Yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, obviously I don't know, but I know with the show,
Yes.
even today, honestly, someone put in my comments, I did a Facebook Live or
Hmm.
pep rally, and somebody put, um, I loved your show, The More Laughing in the Morning show. I love this show. I hope it's coming back. And that meant so much because I did the show, so I produced it. So it was a whole hustle.
Right.
It was a whole, again, a bright idea. I'm about to have a morning talk show because these people need me to hype them up in the morning. I don't know what people are doing, how they getting up in the morning without me, but they need me. So I made the decision that I was going to take it on. JB, have I ever done a talk show? No. Do I know anything about networking? No. All I know is 4 people told me they was depressed. So it was my job to put together some content to help
Yeah.
them. And so we did the show. Well, I got so locked into my measurement of success. My measurement of success was going to be that I was going to tell Hampton Roads that I was doing a talk show and they were going to say, please take my money so we can pay for your advertisement.
Right. Right.
And I was going to be able to fund the show. It didn't happen like that. Turns
Yes.
out that many people was, like happy for you and they were not interested. In fact, I had I had the commercial, Virginia Natural Gas commercial, right? So it's like our power, whatever. And I was in that, and more people was excited about that day on Virginia Natural Gas commercial than my show. So it took me like 2 or 3 months because I was in this woe is me. I didn't get the funding that I want. I mean, we still did
Right.
the show, came out of my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it was a
Right.
whole different type of hustle that was way more stressful. I didn't think it was enjoyable. And then I just started to see the like come up for air where I
Hmm.
realized that was so good. Like I changed my perspective, right?
Yes.
And it was like soon as I said, yo, your girl got a talk show and now I'm about to get some funding to come back with a stronger season or whatever,
Hmm.
that I'm hearing people say, oh my God, it was so good because I needed it
Right.
during COVID.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
shoot.
Right.
And you kind of reinforced that today. It's just this, I'm really hard on myself. Like, so I say all the time to my people, you can talk about me, I don't care. Because I promise you, you ain't said nothing meaner than what I'd have said to me before you got here. So this is one of those where I've been affirming and like I'm huge on affirmations.
Right.
And I used to be okay with that. I'm hard on myself, but I'm like, you know what? No, that is not okay. I don't want to be hard on me. The world is hard on me. When I show up, people are hard on me. I don't
Yeah.
need to be me hard on
Right.
me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you just kind of even in that it was one of
Oh yeah.
those.
Yeah. We'll probably never know the lives or the people that we've impacted through whatever it is that we do. We may not never know those numbers, but
Yeah.
just know and understand that somebody, even if it's just one person.
Yeah.
Now I know sometimes that one person may not equate to how much you may put out financially and all the time and energy and effort, and I get that piece. But the fact that you're able to impact someone or people or whatever
Mm-hmm.
always means it means a lot in the grand scheme of things. It means a lot.
Okay.
But sometimes that don't equate to when them things is hitting your pockets though. And so that
Right.
piece, that part I understand.
Right. But
That
and
part.
that's where the internal work does help
Yes. Yeah.
because the internal work says, but you can pay your bills, right? Well, yeah, but okay. So your needs are met. So you're not rich. Are you finding your value in that, Al? So let's deal with why you don't see success in the
Yeah.
fact that you had a coffee business during the pandemic. You went through a divorce. Like, why don't you see success? But so that's some internal stuff
Yes.
that I have to sit with and make a decision
Yeah.
to be okay with me and to stop this rat race of I could do better. I want to do better. I hope people love me. You know what I'm saying? Before, because I know that I'm going to go there. And I think that me being later in life, so to speak, on this entertainment journey was really for me. It was like to protect my heart. I wear my
Right.
emotions on my sleeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm way immature. I way talk too much. I just be doing too much and not enough. And so I appreciate now, I'm starting to appreciate my path and my pace so much differently because I ain't got it all together. And this journey has allowed me extra time to figure it out so that I can be my best self for these people who are rooting for me. I got people like my fan club, so to speak. I call them OGs. They're my original gigglers. They was rocking with me before the house fire. They was pulling up when it was like 20 of us at somebody Missionary Baptist Church, and they was coming, and so I owe it to them. When my house burnt down, it was cash apping me. Right. When people found out I was going through a divorce, you know what I'm saying? When they knew, dang, Al probably ain't eating if all of her money was coming from live entertainment. Now we're in a pandemic.
Oh yeah,
so I owe it to them to kind of grow. Okay, but JB, how much time we got? Because I got to ask you something.
I go. We got about 30, 45 seconds. But what you need? Go. You got
30, 45
seconds. I'm messing. What we got? What's up?
That pressure. Okay, so we talked about I just want to make sure that I'm giving value to your people and that I'm maximizing this moment for like the entrepreneurship part. I know, obviously, I feel like people are probably inspired or whatever, but is there anything else that I can do that maybe helps your entrepreneur or share that helps somebody get from A to B? And
I would say, and normally, and I kind of, most time on the show, we kind of end with this. And we kind of end with, out of everything that you've learned, your accomplishments, give me that one high in business, the one thing that just really took you over the top, that you were excited about, and then also give me the lowest place that you've been. So that way it kind of gives a gauge for people to understand that when it comes to this space that you're in and a lot of people are in, you're going to experience some things. It's going to be a roller coaster. And just know that when you're at your low, you always got something to look up to. Like you know, and it's tough. You know, you get to that place where you think this is it. But know that you always have a chance to climb and rise back up. So for you and all this stuff that you've been through, if you could give your lowest low and your highest high.
My lowest low happened right before my highest high. My lowest low made my high the highest. Okay. Because I was so low. And it happened around November time of last year. This was my first holiday single. My children were gone. My parents were just like, this was my first whatever of, I really don't have anything right now but these ideas. And God, I hope that me leaving corporate, not the relationship piece, but me not being in corporate. I've been doing this full time since 6 years this year. So if I wasn't doing it right, I didn't have this business mind and set for the last year. I was doing you pay me $200, I show up. Okay, right. Cool. And I'm spending at the grocery store before I get to the house. You know what I'm saying? Before I go to the bank kind of thing. So I wasn't making a track. So here I am where I'm like, I've been putting out this energy. I can't go out to Walmart now at this point around here with people not knowing me. That kind of thing. And I don't have a car. I just really felt like, and we were in a pandemic and I wasn't working and all of these things. I like, this is the worst, you know, and my parents not being here. I didn't feel like I had that unconditional somebody to tell me, no, this is a part of entrepreneurship. I didn't have a spouse to say, no, you got this. All of that. So that was super low. I just.
So she froze. And right at the best part, to hear, oh, man. Well, listen. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's the Mind Your Business podcast. I'm trying to give her some time. Hopefully we can get her back. We may just have to do a part two. Might have to do a part two. But yeah, it's definitely, I want to say we appreciate her for being here. For coming on the show. And this is a new platform, you guys, that I'm using. So hopefully, let's see if this... Oh, she's back. Wait. Hold on, wait. Oh, you there? What we got? Yeah, she must. I ain't gonna call out her internet company, but So look, I want to say, you guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in and hanging out. I will make sure that I get the information from her, so where you can find the book, where you can get the coffee, and find out more about her and where she is and what she's going. Once again, you guys, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. My name is JB Harrison, powered by Hanging with the Harrisons and the Harrison brand. You can hit us on Instagram. It's at mindyour.biz. We just have these candid conversations with entrepreneurs, influencers, creatives, and business owners. And just so that way we can encourage those future business owners, entrepreneurs, they understand what it looks like, what this path looks like, what it looks like to be in this space. And so, once again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I will get the information and I'll post it on our Mind Your Business page to where you can get the coffee, where you can get the hoodie. Hold on, wait. Where you can get the coffee. See that? Black, please. I don't even drink coffee and it smells so good. The hoodies. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Black, please hoodie. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay, I'm looking official right now. So where you can get those. And so once again, I appreciate everybody. Appreciate Miss Allison Moore for hanging out, stopping by, and having a conversation with us. And you guys, we'll see you again. We do this every Monday at 7:30. And so make sure you guys tune in. And once again, I appreciate everybody for hanging out, taking the time out, because you could have been anywhere, and you chose to hang out with us, man. So appreciate you guys, and we'll talk real soon.